Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Driving with Josh. I want to talk today about if saddles are better than tree stands. And this is me just spitballing. I haven't thought about this much. Don't really care if one's better than the other. But we do have this yin and yang in the industry about a saddle's better than a tree stand's better than a saddle, and everybody has all these reasons why. And I'm going to tell you what I think. I was messing with my beast stand and sticks this morning, and man, I really love that setup. Like, it's super comfortable. The platform has plenty of room for the amount of weight. You know, the only downfall to the beast platform is it is a little bit narrower. A lot of people have problems with that. I don't, in particularly. I have size 10 boots. Nothing. You know, and I don't have a crazy big foot. Pretty average size foot. So. I don't have problems with that platform per se, and then obviously the length of the beast stand is a really nice feature. There's plenty of room on it, and I got up in that beast stand again, and it reminded me how nice that frickin' stand is, man. Dan, it's unbelievable how good they made that stand. There's not a lot of bad things I can personally say about it, and I mean I'm like you guys may think I have some skin in the game in Beast Gear. I don't. Hunting Beast YouTube channel and Beast Gear are separate things, and I really had no input or no dealings with Beast Gear other than Dan gave me a stand and then Mario gave me a set of sticks whenever we went to the Battle of the Bows. The sticks, I don't even talk about the Beast sticks. They're the OG of like the super lightweight mobile setup, right? Like Dan and Mario knocked it apart with those sticks. They're awesome. Like, and I still think they can be improved. Like, I think they could be stacked. They can stack better, and you know, attach to each other better. But you know, it is what it is. You have give and you have take, and it's tough to make it all perfect, right? That's just my opinion too. Like, I think if you ask Dan and Mario, they love that stick, and there's nothing wrong with loving your product. I love it too. I will say this about the Beast sticks is holy cow. They bite better than any other stick I've ever used on the market, and that's saying, you know, a lot. Like, you feel safe on them things. That's what's nice about them. They got plenty of room on the standoffs of the sticks. Okay, enough about sticks because that's not what this video is about. Saddle and stands. The beast stand, I got into it, and in the past I've used almost all stands. I've used XOP, Vanish, I've used the old Assaults, I've had the 1.0, and then I've tinkered with a 0.5 back when that first came out. I had some buddies that had it. Certain stands are better than others in my opinion, and from all the ones I've used, if I had to pick one, I would definitely pick the beast stand. Because of the factor of the weight to size ratio. Some of them other stands, you get either a smaller size for the same weight, or B, you have a platform that's nearly the same size but weighs 4 pounds more, 3 or 4 pounds, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's heavier. So sitting in that stand, one thing, because I've been saddle hunting pretty much all year. And one thing is man, it's hard to deny for me that the comfort level of the beast stand is hard to beat. That platform, the seat post, where the seat post is higher than your standard mobile tree stand, and it just makes things so comfortable. Especially if you can have a good pad on that seat, it's kind of it's hard to beat that for comfort. Now, comfort versus a saddle. Now, there are people that will say, saddle's more comfortable for me, and that's probably true. I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you what I think. I still struggle slightly with comfort in a saddle for longer sits, and maybe that's me not getting it all figured out yet. But I've been doing it a long time now. I saddle hunted before the beast stand came out, and it's just if you're just setting for an evening or something, it's fine. But man, I set some all-day sits in the rut, and whew, I was kind of feeling it. Not that I couldn't get comfortable; it just required a lot more movement to get comfortable compared to a tree stand. So that's something to think about. Secondly, the lock-ons to me are slightly, especially for new people, they're slightly easier to set up. The learning curve is not as steep with them. Typically someone, has that's going into a lock-on, they know they put up a stand, they know how to use a stand, they're comfortable sitting in a stand. That's another benefit of a stand versus a saddle. And thirdly, and this is a big one, this one is tough for me to argue with people about, and that's shooting from a saddle. I know there's some people that will say that shooting from a saddle is easier than a stand, and you're probably right. Like, it probably is for you. For me, this is just my opinion. I have a harder time shooting out of a saddle. I had a lot of anxiety this year with that weak side shot, which would be to my right. Just a nervous wreck that something was going to come to my right, and I had to do something weird to get to it. Now, there's things where maybe you could have spun around somehow and stood up on the platform. You can take your bow over your bridge. There's all these methods of shooting to your right, and I struggled with it. All right, like it was something that I worried about a lot. Now, luckily for me, the 2 deer I shot out of a saddle were literally as perfect to my my strong shot, just straight to my left. But I did have some nerves about that. Now, like if me setting up there with a longbow, that would have been even more of a challenge. Okay, so some other things about the saddle. People claim that they are safer. I don't know if I buy that completely. I think you're freaking 20 feet in a tree. I don't know if anything you consider real safe. You have to be conscious of your ropes, just like a stand. You got to be conscious of your strap that goes on your stand. So that's kind of, to me, people like make that argument that saddles are safer than stands. I don't see that. If you use both of them properly, they are inherently safe. They're also inherently not safe, right? Like you're up in a freaking tree hanging by a rope or by a strap. Like it's not safe. It's not like OSHA approved, the way we're hunting. So keep that in mind. You're safe either way, and also you're not safe. Like, you got to be careful and you got to know what you're doing. So I don't like that argument that they're safer. Okay, what else? I'm trying to think of something else with the saddle that I don't like about it. That's probably about it, unless I think of something else here that I don't care for the saddle. Let's talk about what I do like about the saddle, and then go from there. And I'll kind of bounce those back and forth from the saddle to why I don't like the stand, or why a stand may be not as good as a saddle. Okay, so I did weigh my setup today, and essentially I was getting the same height out of my stand and sticks and my saddle and sticks. And my saddle setup weighed around 16 pounds, and my stand setup weighed around 22 pounds. So, it's a 7-pound difference. So if you're just going for lightweight, it is hard to beat a saddle. And my saddle setup, just so you guys know, I was using the X-Wing platform from Latitude with a Method 2 saddle. And then I would, that was with the Latitude sticks as well. So the B stand, and then 3 B sticks with aiders on all 3 of them was the 22 pounds. And that is including weighing the saddle as well. I weighed this because I use the saddle as a safety harness. So that's another thing you got to watch out for. People on the tree stand side will tell you, oh, you're not saving that much weight. Well, they don't weigh their freaking big safety harness they have to wear in. Whereas if you're typically weighing a saddle and all that. I guess you would need to weigh that too, but that's kind of here nor there. So there's a weight savings. I mean, I think it's hard to argue. You don't get much lighter than the beast stand with sticks. Yeah, I could throw on the latitude sticks or the tethered one sticks, all those other sticks that weigh. There's 2 deer right there. Way less than the beast sticks, but I like the beast sticks with my beast stand. So that's what it weighs. Also, packability. Now, I'm not saying that the beast stand, it obviously packs pretty small, but man, my saddle setup pretty much sets in my backpack, fits inside my backpack. It's hard to beat the compactness of a saddle and sticks, and just kind of the facts of life. So those are obviously more beneficial. Something else, if you're gun hunting, I don't see a lot of negatives to a saddle. I like the fact that you can sit behind the tree and you can use it as a gun holder, right? You can hood it on the tree and shoot your gun off the tree. That's super handy. Something else that's really nice about a saddle is the way you can organize your gear up there. And what I mean by gear, like you can put a gear hanger and your bow literally hangs right to your left here, and that allows you to have quick access to your bow. Where as with a stand, it's a little harder because unless you can like screw in your holder for your on the tree for the stand, you're buying some kind of accessory where you have to connect your bow to your stand and all those other doohickeys they make now for that. And then you got to hang your backpack or your fanny pack or whatever else you're bringing in. If you bring in that kind of stuff, you got to find a place to hang that too on the stand, which is not a big deal, but seems not to be as quick access as it is with a saddle. Noise-wise, I'll be honest with you, and this may be one that throws people off. I am much quieter in my stand than I am in my saddle. In my saddle, I always seem to make some type of noise I don't want to make, and I think that has to do a little bit with you have something hanging in front of you right here, and you're kind of working around that all the time. So you accidentally hit something, your rope shifts and then you readjust and it makes a noise. And maybe that's a symptom of I move more in a saddle because I'm trying to get comfortable. I'm switching positions. Those are all like factors you got to think of. Because it is a little less comfortable, you typically are moving more because you're uncomfortable. Some things that I think I want to change next year for my saddle setup is I want to get a little bit bigger platform. I think if I had a bigger platform, nothing wrong with that X-Wing. That X-Wing is a really good platform. I really liked it. But I think for one, a bigger platform will ease my anxiety about the weak side shot. And that would be a big benefit to me in a saddle. Like if you could get essentially a platform that is, not tree stand size, but closer to tree stand size, where I could actually just stand up and stand on it, that would be a really nice, I think a really nice setup. Okay, I wanted to address something else with the saddle. We did a lot of work with ring of steps, and I think unless you're high up in this tree, I don't know if it's a good option. It is super hard for me to be quiet when I'm moving around a ring of steps and there's a deer in range, right? You just can't. I couldn't see myself doing it. And like, yeah, you can try to keep you can try to keep your tree between you and the deer, but I don't know if that's enough to actually hide that much movement that you're going to have to make if you are swinging around the tree with a ring of steps. A lot of people had talked to me about putting the bottom of my stick the same level as my platform, and that's a good idea. That gives you more room to kind of make moves around the tree. Something else that I'm still going back and forth on with my saddle is the knee pads versus like a pad that you put on the tree. I don't know if I like either one of them. I don't know, maybe I don't have the right knee pads or something, but the knee pads, I just don't like carrying them around. The pad on the tree, it was okay, but I felt like it had a lot to be desired for me. But other than that, they both make things more comfortable. It just was something that I feel like with my saddle, I started to get to that thing where I'm like, gosh, I'm calling a lot of freaking crap in. That to make this a little bit more comfortable, you get a back thing to make your back more comfortable. You had the knee pads to make your knee more comfortable. All of a sudden, I'm like, gosh, dang, I don't want all this stuff, So, if I had to choose one to hunt out of, which one would I choose? Man, it'd be hard for me to get away from the bee stand. I've killed so many deer out of the bee stand now, and I think like if I had to if a big giant buck, let's put it this way, you asked me, if I had a big giant buck coming in and I didn't know if it was going to go to my left or to my right, and I was going to get a shot on either side, but I didn't know if it was going to be left or right, which one would you want to be in? I'd say stand, 100%. I just don't feel confident in this deer's coming in and it's going to make a move at 30 yards and walk to my right instead of my left. I don't have confidence that I could efficiently either turn around on my platform or bring my bow over top of my bridge and my tether and get away with it, especially in higher pressured states. Bee stand, I think I could just, if he comes from my left, you just kind of slowly shuffle around. Something else with the bee stand, you put that seat up and you kind of can tuck yourself back into that tree, and that's really, then you're really close to the tree, and that's really nice. Okay, something else that I just thought of that's a little bit of a benefit, and with the saddle is, you can put it, it's a small platform, so you can put it into little tighter spaces. Now that being said, sometimes you can't. If you have limbs around you up in the tree with a saddle, that can cause issues with your tether and being able to maneuver around, whereas with a tree stand, you tuck that in and you literally are just shooting straight out, whereas it makes it a little more challenging with for example, a cedar tree is really hard to saddle hunt out of with a lot of limbs in it, whereas with a stand, you can just tuck it in the tree and then you're good to go. So those are my thoughts on if a saddle is better than a tree stand. I did find myself, I will say this, I did find myself this year, I could use whatever I want to. And I found myself typically going for that saddle. And the reason that I did was because of how compact it was carrying it through the woods. I really enjoyed that. Now, do I think that is a good reason to grab it? I don't know, man. I don't know if it is or not. I got lucky and didn't cost me a deer because I was fine with it. Something else that I think was a really good option, and my buddy Brian Douglas from Illinois, Good Sit Mobile, does is hybrid hunts out of them, right? You just wear your saddle up there, and that's probably what I'm going to move to. Then you kind of get a little bit of the best of both worlds. As far as you could set up with the tree between you and the deer. You could also use it as a typical stand, and then use it as a regular tree stand. I think maybe the answer is to get a bigger platform, and then that would relieve my anxiety. So that's my opinions. It's okay if yours are different. I still love you. Just my thoughts about doing this for pretty hard for a number of years now, and wanted to share that with you. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want to watch another one, YouTube will recommend one. It's right there. If you want to subscribe, hit that button right there. I'd appreciate that a lot. See you guys on the next one.